Hello, good evening and welcome. This is Resonance 104.4 FM. It is 7 o'clock. It's Monday night. I am Simon Byron.
I'm Anne Scantlebury.
I'm Simon Byron all the other times, obviously, but particularly at 7 o'clock on Monday. How are you doing, Anne?
I'm really great. I'm not. I'm a little bit tired and a little bit grumpy.
Are you?
But don't worry, I'm sure this next hour will perk me right up.
I feel a little hoarse. You might hear it in my... Why? What have you been up to?
I just hung out with a bunch of losers at the weekend. No, I hung out with the best people in the world at the weekend. It was brilliant, but didn't get very much sleep.
No. So it was Nottingham GameCity, as we are allowed to call it, on Monday night. Sorry, not Monday night, at the weekend. Friday night was Marioke. We did the karaoke. That went so well.
It did. We're going to talk about this more later in the show. Yeah, it makes sense to give it its own little section.
Okay. Did you get back all right?
I did. It was a long train journey, Simon,
wasn't it long?
But it was a comfortable train journey.
What time train did you get?
The 12:03.
Okay. I tried to get the 6:50.
Oh, that is a very different time. In the AM?
Yeah, in the AM. I slept through the alarm. I got the 7:40. And they were being... there's some sort of stuff going on, so we had to go backwards at some point. Did you have that?
Oh, my goodness.
No.
Oh, no!
I was feeling so bad though. I couldn't do anything.
What time did you leave? You left the party quite early.
Yeah, about 1:10. Yeah, I just sat there for 3 hours, just thinking about stuff. Just couldn't play games, couldn't listen to music.
GameCity ruined you.
Had the best time though. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Everything else okay?
Yeah, everything's good. I mean, we should probably address the elephant in the room, or the elephant that's not in the room.
Where is Steve this time?
Oh, I'm going to go up to Glasgow to see my friend.
What friend?
He's gone up to say happy birthday to Ian.
Happy birthday, Ian.
Happy birthday, Ian.
Hope you had a great party.
Yes.
Were we busy, Anne?
Yeah, washing our hairs.
Oh, yeah, well, in your case, I was trying to grow it. Yeah, but maybe next year,
Maybe next year.
It's my birthday in 3 weeks, actually.
Is it?
3 weeks, literally on a One Life Left night.
What are we doing?
We're going to have a party.
Oh, in the studio?
Well, we're going to have a party.
Yeah.
We've got a list of people we're inviting, and a list of those that we aren't.
Oh, we do like our list.
Dan Marshall, what are you doing in 3 weeks' time?
Oh God, I have no idea. Have I suddenly been invited to a party here?
That's how this works.
Oh,
yes.
fine, yeah, good.
How are you doing? I can't believe you've never actually been on the proper show.
I've never actually been on a proper show. You keep on asking me, and I always sort of am never really in a position to talk about anything. I'm always sort of being secret and quietly developing away.
You should always come on.
Exactly. You don't have to come on here to pimp.
Yeah, no, I know, but I don't want to sit here and they say, "What are you working on?" I go, "I can't really talk about it."
Oh, it's fine.
Awful.
You don't have to talk about it.
We would get it out of you.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about accidentally promoting my new games on One Life Left instead of
imagine how awful that would be
instead of doing it properly.
We should explain you're from Size 5 Games.
I am indeed.
Thank you for coming along.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We're also joined by Mike Cook, who's from the University Goldsmiths. Is that right?
What? Yeah. That's where I went.
Oh, well, exactly, and that's why he's here, Anne. Is that,
oh no, are they revoking something?
They've been going through their history. They've found some graffiti. Well, they want to know. They want to know if it's true.
Considering that my qualification is in radio, maybe let's save it to the end of the show.
Mike, you're a researcher there. You make AI games.
I do. I make AI and games.
AI and games. We're going to be talking to you about that shortly. Thank you for coming along.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
First time on the show as well.
It is. Yeah, first time in a studio.
Well, I mean, I hope it goes well.
Oh, me too. I mean, that was my broad feeling when I came here.
Do let us know feedback at the end.
Yeah.
But we're going to carry on the show. Anne, you're putting fingers out.
Don't worry, it's fine. It's fine. I think it's fine.
We're going to start the show as we always do, and that's with Anne's news.
One life left.
It's 7:04 on Monday the 3rd of November. I'm Anne Scantlebury and this is the news. Nottingham is to become home to the National Video Game Arcade. The £2.5 million project is due to open in March 2015 and will host quarterly exhibitions focusing on game making and player experiences. There will also be a floor dedicated to the education of students wanting to get into game development. Announced during GameCity, director Ian Simon said, "For the first time ever, a civic, cultural and academic space will be dedicated to the public's relationship with video games."
No jokes on that?
No jokes. This is no jokes,
Unless you're
Simon.
saying that the public's relationship with video games is a punchline in itself.
No, it won't be at this place. It'll be excellent.
What did you think of this place?
Bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay, now that's what you thought of it, not what it was made of.
Excellent.
It's good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This is a Game City house. I thought it was just going to be called Game City, but it's not. It's been called.
Is it called Game City House?
Well, I mean,
City House lends it a certain air, like pretentious air, doesn't it?
that
Like
was
a sort of.
Yeah, that was the name that I gave to it when I
Well,
was.
you just gave it.
No, I thought I was walking past a building on the way back from John Blythe's pub, and I looked in and it had Game City branding. I'm like, oh right, this must be the Game City house. And I went in there and it was amazing. Rooms everywhere, 5 floors.
Have you never been in a house before? They're all like that.
A house up one with 5 floors. Maybe you indie devs are doing all right, aren't you? This one even had its own Mike Bithell room. I had a room, and there was
all houses have a Mike Bithell room, especially for Mike Bithell.
A Mike Bithell on the floor, which I think's where you'd keep him, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Cross-legged.
It's like a panic room, but
They also
room.
had. Did you play Tap Happy Sabotage at Radius?
Oh, is that the one where there's lots
Yes.
of...
It's Alistair Aitchison's
Yes.
tablet thing.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
I
I've heard it's very good.
I ended up fighting with Rami over it. We were being filmed and, he ended up picking me up and moving me out of the way of the screen.
Did he now?
Yeah.
That sort of behaviour would be frowned upon now, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, I'm friends of Rami, so there were no personal boundaries stepped over there.
But they made it into a proper room using physical buttons. So it had the same style of games, but the icons appeared in screens all around the room, and so it's like, oh, look for this card, you had to run around, and I mean, goodness knows what Rami would make of that. It would be knocking you out, and he'd take a weapon in. So it was brilliant, really nice atmosphere. There was a world rock paper scissors championship going on.
Who won?
Dunno, not me though.
But what
Rock.
move did
It's
they?
rock, always wins, rock.
Always.
Is it now? Jonathan Smith was doing that thing where he goes, oh, okay, right. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, right. So he's explaining to me how it works, but he was making a hand gesture as you do it, which I think is supposed to Darren Brown you into. So he's going 1, 2, 3. So what? Do you think he's going to do paper? Or
He's quite So what you're saying is Jonathan Smith of the Lego franchise cheats at rock paper shotgun.
I'm saying
rock,
that.
paper,
Yeah.
rock paper
I'm
scissors.
saying that. Steve's not here, so we can say what we want.
Wow.
Yep. So that they were doing that. It was great. So now they're closing it down and they're going to make it into a permanent space.
Yeah. Open in March. Should we go up there?
Somebody asked us on Twitter whether we're going to go up for the opening, and
Why not?
I mean, even if
I'll
we're
go
on
up for the opening. That sounds like a
Yeah.
nice thing to
Even
do.
if we aren't
Mike, are you in?
invited.
I don't know.
No, I think we should
Running around
specifically go
rooms,
for
Mike
not
Bithell all over the floor.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of issues there.
Nintendo could be making a move to end region locking for its consoles. President Satoru Iwata told investors that the decision to region lock devices had previously been made for sellers, not for the sake of customers, and that unlocking may benefit them as well as customers. He also admitted that the change would be some way off and may not ever happen. But it is something that needs to be considered. Iwata has only just returned to work following surgery to remove a tumour on his bile duct. As most people do when recovering from major surgery, he spent his time thinking about region locking.
Right, was that a joke? It seemed a bit.
Yeah, I know. Well, you can't really make jokes about surgery, can you?
Well, I mean, we can try.
Oh, we could have done a surgeon simulator joke.
Right, well, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Add
Do you
that in
want
on the end.
do that again? I was going to say, as you were reading this out, this won't happen.
Yeah, I mean, he did sort of say, might not happen.
He's poorly, though, is he?
Yeah. But maybe he's been taking a lot of painkillers and he was having wild dreams of a fantasy future that he,
Which they
hopes
treated
would one day
consumers
happen.
with the freedom that they deserve. Mike, do you agree with region locking?
The thing is that people get very excited about this kind of thing, but it involves actually buying games and
Instead of making them.
right.
Yeah.
So imagine if you could just press a button and have a game, huh? And that would be No.
It's not how it's been working in my
The
experience.
region locking thing is kind of funny because I stopped playing console games quite a long time ago, just because I don't have space for it in my flat.
Right.
And so everything's on the internet, and I don't really think about that kind of thing anymore. And then when people talk about it, it's like you feel really bad.
It just seems completely daft for a portable system to be region locked, though, doesn't it?
It's the only one that is still.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it right. Don't you?
I know, but the other two aren't. So they should really
What are the two?
shifty on with it.
What are the two?
The Xboxy one.
It's not portable, is it?
Oh no, but it's the wait.
It's heavy.
It is heavy. You could put it in a suitcase.
Is that why it's not region locked? Is because it's so heavy?
Exactly. Yeah. Why would you take it to another country?
Yeah.
No, I said the PlayStation Vita is not region locked.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, neither is a home console because Sony like you.
Yeah. But Nintendo don't.
No, it seems odd. Yeah, like because the idea of a portable console is you take it with you. So you can't buy games in an airport, but you can make games in an airport, Mike, can't
Make
you?
games whenever you want, Simon.
Blizzard has banned thousands of Hearthstone accounts that were using botting software to automate gameplay. The software allowed players to earn gold to buy new card packs and unlock rewards. The accounts will be banned until 2015. The makers of Hearthcrawler, one of the bots, has shut itself down since the announcement. A stark reminder that cheating never ever pays off, unless you don't get caught.
Banned till 2015.
Yeah,
Like,
you are banned until 2015.
They're really dealing with the botting issue then,
Yeah.
aren't they?
So how long
to
is that
sit
now?
there.
Countdown till Christmas.
And one shut itself down, so it had a sort of
Well,
self-destruct.
no, it's-
if banned.
One of the makers of the botting tool had a chat with Blizzard and decided that since they were getting tough on this, they should probably get tough on themselves and just
Do you
close
think they suddenly had
themselves
a
down.
moment of clarity and just suddenly went, "Oh my God, we're awful people. What have
awful-
we done?"
We're awful people who can probably not make any money anymore.
Have you ever used a bot, Anne?
I wouldn't know how. Simon.
Dan, have you?
No, I've no idea. I don't understand. I don't understand. People have Twitter bots, don't they? And I don't understand
Do they?
how they do them, but I want
It's
one.
a little person inside your computer. A bot
Is
is
that-
a small
a small
robot.
person?
It's the word robot made small, which
Smaller.
means that it is a tiny
That's how it gets
robot.
into your computer.
And that is how it gets into your computer, and it just sits there doing all the things.
You know all the science facts, don't you?
True story.
So can you do anything about them then if you've got a bot?
You
Or
can't.
like you put some lotion or...
I think
Washing
it's
up
a spray.
liquid,
I think
yeah.
it's
Is
a
it?
spray, actually,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Mike, were you going to say something about bots then? Have you used one?
Do they just think the algorithm's going to get bored, like in 2015, and they're just not going to take a 3-month break, and then, when you take a break from something, you don't really want to go back to it.
It'll forget what to do, won't it?
Yeah.
3 months,
Practice.
I forget a lot of stuff.
The bot will have moved on to Candy Crush by then. It'll be. You can't. They've got a really short attention span, notoriously.
Nintendo has announced a sleep and fatigue sensor. As part of its quality of life technology, the contactless monitor will sit by your bedside and track your body movements, breathing and heartbeat. It will also check for monsters under the bed. It's due for release at some point that is unspecified in 2016. Microsoft has developed something similar, the Microsoft Band, which is a watch that will track calorie intake, sun exposure, stress, sleep and all that jazz. Companies, if you want to create real sleep-based quality of life technology, you're going to have to make something that knows when to hug you when you have a bad dream.
Was that what you were pointing at? Were you telling me that the CDs were going to automatically
Yeah.
move on? Right,
Yes.
okay, right. Okay. Point louder next time.
Okay.
Microsoft did a sort of Apple with their band, didn't they? They announced it and it was in the shops 2 days later.
Yeah, but you can't. It's not. Is it not available over here yet?
No, it's in US shops.
In the
We've been region locked out buying the band.
Our health has been region locked.
Do we think this Nintendo thing will ever come out?
No.
No, because their finger sensor didn't come out, did it? In the end, after all of that,
I
did
do
it?
like talking about them though.
No.
These kind of things never materialise. Did you see the adverts?
What's a Nintendo finger sensor? Do they just
You stick your finger.
determine
It was-
whether or not you've got fingers, how pliable
Yeah.
your fingers are? They say, "Ding, that's
was-
a good finger for poking out. Well done." Have
It
10
was
points.
going to measure how scared you were. I mean, obviously you're going to be
I
pretty
know
scared
how
by
scared
sticking
I
your
am.
You've not seen Flash Gordon. You shouldn't be sticking your digits where they don't belong. But yeah, no, that seemed odd, and this seems odder. Does it?
Well, so they want it to be contactless because people don't want to have to wear stuff all the time.
Okay.
They don't want to have sensors on them all the time. They want to make something that you can just put by your bed casually that will just monitor you all of the time.
Is that what you want?
I mean, it's not what I've asked for, but it's what I'm getting.
It's a suspicious type of relationship.
Why are they all getting into sleep monitoring?
Don't know. It's weird, isn't it?
What are they going to be using this data for? Because remember, so with the Microsoft thing, it's all going into the cloud. Cloud is dangerous.
Right.
Where is the
They
cloud?
might build some bots.
They might build some bots that will be using your heart
What if the
rate.
cloud is dreams? All along, Microsoft have been harnessing the power of your dreams, and that's why Titanfall. I don't know something. That's how
happened.
robots in Titanfall work.
This sounds like a Pixar film.
Was this Microsoft thing? I saw an advert where Microsoft said they were going to make you be a better human, and I think this was for that lifespan thing. That's a bit sinister as well.
Good
Look in the
luck.
mirror first, would you?
Have you seen the people in this room? And finally, streaming service Twitch obviously doesn't like people shaking what their mama gave them. An update in its terms of service specifies that it is cracking down on sexually suggestive clothing being shown during streams. The terms say, nerds are sexy and you're all magnificent, beautiful creatures, but let's try and keep this about the games, shall we? Banned items include lingerie, swimsuits, pasties or undergarments, as well as any full nude torsos.
Wait, are there two definitions of the word pasty?
Right.
So I thought of Anne when I read about the pasties, and not for the reason that that I associate like them visually with you.
Let me read what the final line was going to be, because I thought I was about to run out of time and I didn't want to. In a bid to test these rules, One Life Left's next broadcast will be preceded by a trip to Greg's and a stream with our fully nude torsos covered in sausage rolls.
What do they mean, pasties?
We've talked about pasties before on One Life Left because we like to cover the important
I see.
issues.
Right, pasties. I think they're pronounced slightly differently in the US.
Okay.
And actually, we're discussing this over lunch the other day with... apparently, there was some confusion with our American friend Matt Bock. They were talking about this with him. And they were talking about going into the 24-hour Greggs in Nottingham
To buy some pasties.
to buy some pasties. And he was incredibly confused as to why James would want to be doing that at 2 a.m.
Right.
So pasties in America are nipple covers.
Right, okay.
I'm not. Have we got a list of words we're allowed to use or sort of mental images?
Nipple is biological.
Okay,
So,
right.
and covers is just a word.
So having discovered this, Dan, how do you feel about pasties?
Oh, I don't know.
Cornish
I
ones the
don't
best, aren't they?
The thing is, I've recently moved out to the middle of the countryside, and if you imagine a field as far as the eye can see and a house in the middle of it, that's what my house is. So my internet is definitely not up to Twitch anymore, either streaming it or receiving it or anything like that. So that whole thing's passed me by.
Okay.
I'm you know that thing where you suddenly realise you're getting older and the young people are talking about a thing and you don't know what it is. I've got that.
So you'll never have the opportunity to see pasties live on Twitch?
No.
Especially not now. They're really clamping down on nipple covers.
Bots with pasties.
I don't know if that would work.
Okay, thanks, Anne.
One Life Left video game news with Anne Scantleberry.
Sounded a bit muffled, that. Apologies. You're listening to a song called Chasing by Yours Me.
Sounds very you, Simon.
Chiptunes.org. Now, I picked that for the reason that it was made on an Amiga
Yeah.
in Octamed. Do you remember that, Dan?
Nope.
No, Mike?
No.
Oh.
No, we hadn't. No, yeah. I mean, I was there, but
Were you?
yeah.
Octamed is a music sequencer for the Amiga that people used to make stuff like this on. And so I thought it would be a treat for you, Anne.
It is. I think it sounds very much like you.
Thanks so much. I'm not talented enough to actually do this myself.
No, of course not.
Of course not. You're listening to One Life Left. It's 7:20 Monday night. Mike,
Hey,
how's it going?
it's going good.
So tell us about your work then, because it's a bit left field, isn't it?
It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird for just about everyone. Because like, technically I work in a computing department and there's research going on, but I spend most of my day screwing around with games. And at the same time, I'm supposed to be in the games industry, but I'm kind of a boring scientist at the same time.
Science isn't boring.
Well, bits of it are, trust me. There's lots of form filling and there's some exciting bits.
So you create your own AI.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Terminator?
I have,
Okay.
and it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, but there are accidents in there, but
Right.
people
Lessons
are
to be
generally
learned.
having fun. Yeah,
It's only Terminator thing's only a problem if you make an AI and time travel, right? as long as the guys next door, you know what they're up to, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that they're going to lay off their time travel work.
Okay.
And yeah,
And then you use this AI to make games.
yeah. So it's called Angelina. So I've given
Okay.
it a name. And it creates games kind of on its own. Entered, I don't know if you know the Ludum Dare.
We do,
Game
yeah.
Jam.
We've had some Ludum Dare
There you go, well,
entrants
entered
on the
it.
show. Okay, how did
So
it get on?
You've kind of got another. It came 550th in the Jam category, but that's not bad. It beat human entries.
Right.
And it was all right. It got quite high ratings for some things, like mood and audio, because it's quite good at. You give it the theme, and it finds lots of resources from online, things like music and images and sound effects, and it tries to select them for a reason. And I think actually some people think that it's doing okay in some areas, like why it chooses a piece of music, that kind of thing.
So how does? I mean, I'm struggling to make games, and I'm a human, and
Yeah,
now
me too.
you've created an AI to do it for. So what language is it using?
So it's built in Unity, actually.
Okay.
So I give it a word, which is like the theme of Ludum Dare, maybe, and then it'll go onto the internet and try and find out what this word actually means. So it'll use like word association websites and dictionaries and knowledge bases, and then it'll say, well, how do people feel about this word? And it'll go and Google for things and try and download maybe piece of music that reflects those feelings, or some sound effects. So I think one of the recent ones was about under the earth, being under the surface. So it made a game about a submarine. So it found like noises that you might hear inside a submarine and noises of the ocean and things like that. And like the gameplay is a bit basic. You sort of at the moment
the way that you're describing it sounds to me that it's just pulling in sprites and stuff, and then so each. Surely the central game is the same, is it? But with different visuals, or
it is at the moment.
Okay.
So about a year ago, I worked on a game called A Puzzling Present, which you can get. It's Christmassy themed if you want to play it. It's on Android. And Angelina actually invented game mechanics for that. It actually wrote its own program code and came up with ideas for how to play games. But I haven't moved that to Unity yet, so the games are really dull. But
Wow.
the research is there, and I'm kind of working on all different bits at the same time. So, I spend a few months where I get really excited about how Angelina chooses a piece of music, and then the next month, Dan's looking.
Can I just ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Can you stop? I don't mean to be rude, but this is my job. And if you make something that does it better than I do, which doesn't sound like it's very far off.
Well, it's interesting to talk to you about this kind of thing, because you, in the past, one of the things that's great about your games is the humour in them, right? And that's incredibly difficult for AI.
Oh, thank God.
Right? And so there's lots of...
does
very
humour not have a
human things.
Wikipedia page?
Always room for a naughty joke. You'll always need
exactly.
humans for rude jokes.
There you go.
Oh, all right then, fine.
Yeah.
As long as I've always got that.
How do the Ludum Dare guys feel about you using the AI to enter?
Well, I wasn't sure how they'd feel at first, actually. And I actually entered Angelina twice the first time, and once was anonymous, and the other I told people that it was Angelina, so there were two entries at the same time. And after they found out, they were actually really excited about it, and they tweeted about it, and the people who reviewed the games were quite happy about it. They thought it was cool. They still thought the game was kind of rubbish, but they said nice things about it. But it is interesting, because I'm not just interested in the technical challenges. We actually do lots of philosophy. Like, what does it mean for an AI to have an idea, or to have an opinion, or to be creative, or is Angelina being creative in the same way that Dan is? Like, I'd say Angelina definitely isn't. Like, Angelina's rubbish right now. Maybe it could one day. Maybe it can have like an idea that
I
it wants
think
to express.
when you say one day, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, let's not over-egg how well I am, how good I am at this job.
Where can we see examples of these games?
Yeah,
or
you can play
Angelina?
them. If you go to gamesbyangelina.org,
Right.
and then you can put a /games if you feel like it, or you might find some buttons that take you there anyway.
And what's the goal with it then? Is it so that you can just automate game making and put Dan out of a job?
Well, there's loads of
this whole thing is
It's all about Dan Marshall, yeah.
towards ruining my life.
bad encounter with him a few years back.
It does sound exactly.
No, well, there's loads of things it could be used for. So I think it could be used for like the next generation of Game Maker. So imagine Game Maker 10, where instead of you just making a game, it actually gives you suggestions or can help you design a bit of it for you. But also,
Can you put in a bit where if you put in a design decision, you can make it so the AI goes every time you press a button and go.
You're going to regret that.
I think I'll have birds as the main character, and it goes.
little
They've
games
been done,
journalist
game
picks up.
themed. Yeah, exactly.
Could
Yeah, you can make a little games journalist AI.
Could you put it where the Surface, where it tells you why the surfaces are working fine on the PC version, but when you export it to Android, for some reason it's not displaying properly?
No one.
I mean, that's a very.
There's a lab in Switzerland doing that right now.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so sort of contextual, like a virtual assistant and stuff like that. Wow.
But I'm just interested in, like, would Dan ever ask Angelina for advice? That's one thing. Like 20 years in the future, when Angelina's way
If
cleverer
only
than
we,
it is
if
now,
only we had a
imagine
Dan
that.
here to ask.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
I
nothing.
would.
There's
Would
nothing
you?
Angelina could give you right now. But
in 20 years'
imagine
time.
one day.
Yeah, of course I would.
Because it's a big moment.
And would it be anything sort of more profound than should I make this with birds?
Should I put birds in it or not? Angelina, help me come up with an idea for the ending for my game. That'd be nice.
Exactly. Like
Wow.
that.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely check that. And that's not all you do, though, is it? Because doing AI is not enough.
No.
You're working on a game jam, right?
I get excited about things that make other things. So
Okay.
next week, I'm hosting a game jam called Proc Jam. The tagline is "Make something that makes something." So from Saturday to the following Sunday, so you've got over a week. And this Saturday, to kick the jam off, we're going to be streaming a day of talks from procedural generation experts live in London. We're at Goldsmiths, actually. But it's going to be streamed on the web, and there's people like Darren Gray, who you had on the show just a few weeks back. Gillian Smith, who's a researcher in America, is going to be there. Hazel McKendrick, who's working on No Man's Sky, she's going to be talking. Got loads of people. Did any of you play Indiana Jones and his desktop adventures?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
I've got the project lead, Hal Barwood.
Oh, wow. Hal Barwood's a proper...
Q&A.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's going to be a great day.
Wow.
and
So
a
you
good
can
jam.
go in person if you're in London, or you can follow it online.
Yes. The tickets have sold out. They were free, but they've sold out. There's a waiting list, but it's going to be streamed and recorded, and you can catch up with them later. And Proc
Can I
Jam.
just ask, if you're going to be streaming it, what are your policies on sexually
Pasties.
suggestive clothing?
Well, I was going to turn up in pasties.
That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what you're talking about? Brilliant, Mike. Thanks. So where can we follow you on Twitter, Mike?
Yeah, I am MTRC. Angelina's on Twitter as well. Angelina's Games.
Excellent.
She asks for help sometimes.
Does she? Fantastic. Okay, thanks so much for that. We're going to now play Super Roger World.
A special announcement for Roger fans. Despite my enormous success in the arena of games, I'm often called upon to work on projects for artistic rather than financial reasons, and nothing attracts me more than the prospect of acting on the stage. My first love was, and still is, musical theatre, and I'm honoured to announce that I will soon be working on a new musical that combines the story of Gears of War with a soundtrack bringing together the greatest hits of, wait for it, Jessie J. Cynics would suggest that these so-called arcade jukebox musicals are an attempt to cash in on existing intellectual property and symbolise the nadir of creativity in the West End and the music and games industries. To them I say, wait until you've seen my Marcus Phoenix belting out his rendition of Domino whilst destroying bugs and hugging other burly men. At one point I even get to swoop over the audience with a chainsaw, although I am slightly worried about dropping it, as I'm 63 and it is very heavy. I'll be giving away tickets at my book signings over the next few weeks, so please come along and buy a copy of Super Roger World to qualify. It'll make Marioke look like the cheeky girls. In a bad way, obviously.
Does this one sound like me?
Nope.
Who does it sound like?
I don't know, but it sounds soothing and yeah, very unlike you.
Sound like Dan or Mike? We should also mention we've got Simon, the intern, in the studio. Hello, Simon. How's it going? Good.
He did a very good job at talent handling tonight.
Thank you. How did that go?
I was handled excellently.
Did anybody give you any difficulty?
No.
No?
Very nice.
Did either of them have a rider?
What's that? It's like a pasty.
It is whatever you want it to be, isn't it?
Somewhere else.
Dan!
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Dan, we've known you for ages. I can't believe it's taken us so long to get you on the show.
I know, and every week I listen, and every week you're mean to your guests, and I wonder, I sit there and think, oh, I wish Simon was mean to me. You can be
I
as
hate
mean to
that
me as
top
you'd
you're
like.
wearing.
Thanks very much. I don't like it either, so...
You put on weight since we first met
I
you.
have as well. I think that's just because I'm getting older.
I don't believe
understandable.
that to be true, because I do like the top, and you're one of the best looking guys in the games industry, so... You know,
as long as I rank above Mike Bithell, I think that's enough.
We used to have a joke where we would shout, "I'm Dan Marshall."
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah, we did. We met ages ago when I first made Jibbage, and you'd written a book about the 50 best games
Still
ever.
available on Amazon.
Still available, and plenty of copies of that still available. And I came along to your book launch, and I asked you to write down 51 at the back. It says 51 in my copy. It says 51 Jibbage.
Excellent.
I think it came from that. I think it came from
That's brilliant, because that's a joke we now do when people write.
Yes, that's right.
People write things like top 10 best events at GameCity, and we're not on it. We're like, number
delighted with
11.
Yeah.
Same
So-
joke after all these years. Who'd have thought?
Right, so that was a while ago, wasn't it? That was when Oblivion came out, because the title was Game On from Pong to Oblivion. I mean, so we decided to very specifically date it. So what have you been doing since then?
I quit my real job, didn't I? And I became an indie developer, and I sort of sit there typing away at a computer all day.
So what was your real job?
I used to work in TV. I was a TV producer.
Okay. What TV did you produce?
Awful things like wife swap and all that sort of
did you?
rubbish.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I did wife swap. I'll tell you some stories about wife swap
Great.
afterwards.
Okay, good. Well, let's just turn the mics down and play some music. Go on then.
No, I'm not telling you my wife swap stories. They're mainly rude. You wouldn't want me to
That's why
tell.
you're here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell them on.
Yeah, I'm here to tell you about wife swap. That's what.
So at what point did you decide to give up swapping wives and swap them for games?
It was one of those things. I was. It was my hobby, was making games on the side. I was sort of, I was making Jibbage and Ben There Dan that had been out and doing well, and I was making them in my spare time. I was making Time Gentlemen Please in my spare time, and Channel 4 had got in touch about making privates, and I basically survived round after round after round of redundancies at the job I was working on. The team went from like 120 down to 3, and I was basically a week away from handing in my notice. I was just waiting for Channel 4 to get back to me with the final contract, and they pulled me in and said, "I'm really sorry about this, but we're going to have to make you redundant. The job literally doesn't exist anymore. Here's a handsome severance package." And I walked out, and it was awful because I went to the pub with all the other guys who'd also been made redundant, and they were all sitting there. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've lost my job. This is awful. And I was sitting there, and you can't say anything. You can't sit there and go, "Well, I'm all right," because that would just be really rude. So I sat there, "Yeah, this is awful. I don't know what I'm going to do." But I basically, that was it. And I sort of made privates, and Time Gentlemen Please did very well and was selling copies. And so I managed to make that horrible thing where I was making games was my hobby, and now I get to do my hobby full time as my actual job. So I'm one of those smug people that.
You do look smug.
I do look smug, don't I? I think it's the top. I think it's got a smug top.
So your last game was Gun Monkeys.
My last game was Gun Monkeys.
How did that do?
It did very well. It reviewed well, and it sold very well. It was really weird because I sort of messed up the promo stuff of it a little bit, I think, because it's sort of I was just like, I wonder what happens if you just release a game and don't really do much PR for it beforehand. And I sort of found out that if you do that, it's very difficult to get the ball rolling once it's already out. You need to do that stuff well in advance. No, people don't want to talk about it once it's out. They want to talk about it before it's out. So I sort of messed that up a little bit. And it was one of these weird things that I made this game that was deliberately a one-on-one multiplayer game. The idea was that you go, "Hey, do you fancy a quick game of Gun Monkeys?" And you both log on and you play against each other. But it turns out people don't want that. People want to log into a server at 3 o'clock in the morning and find a stranger to play. So no matter how I said, no, that's not what it's for. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. That doesn't really work. So it was just this really weird thing that the servers were just kind of empty because you need to sell a lot of copies of a game in order for anyone to be online at any time.
When I bought it,
Thank you very much for buying it.
No, I actually own all of your games. I do.
Haven't played them, but I own all of them.
It's not the point,
That's
is
Steam,
it?
and it's basically just Steam is basically just like
briefly played been there, done that. No, but did you give away
You're
2
in
copies?
Been There, Done
But
That.
exactly, that's why I played it. I play games that I'm in.
Yeah.
Did you give away 2 copies from the start?
No, I don't think I did actually. I think it was 1 copy, and then I said to them, "This is stupid. We should."
Very quickly after launch.
Yeah. I tried a lot of things
smart.
after launch because it was, and there was a point at one point where if you happened to be on a server at any point and there was no one else on there, it would give you a free code and say go and find a friend and play them instead, which was great because that worked really well because people were just like, oh, okay, cool. But again, slightly flawed because people just went away, found a friend, played against them, and then there was no one left in the server anymore. so it's basically just a self-perpetuating problem. But
you arranged some nights where people would get together as well.
Yeah,
there was quite cool.
There was quite a few of those, and the community started to take those on as well, which was great because it sort of started. And then I gave away. After it had been out for about a year, PC Gamer gave away 1 million copies, which was actually 2 million copies because all the keys were worth as copies. And now it's just buzzing, and now it's just working really well. So
Great.
It was a long process, and it was a difficult thing. You know, I wouldn't touch multiplayer with a barge pole ever again. It's a lot of work. It's very difficult making it. It's very difficult making fixing all the problems. It's difficult to test, and then when you launch there's a whole load of other problems. It's really nice doing a single player game again because you can just sit there and go, oh, this is all it is.
Tell us about the Swindle then.
So the Swindle is a procedurally generated.
Oh yeah,
I haven't been invited to talk at Goldsmiths.
Oh yeah,
it's a procedurally generated steampunk platform game about breaking into buildings and nicking all their money and running away again.
Okay.
That doesn't sound very moral.
It's not the most moral game in the world, no. But it's one of these things I like. It came from, I was playing Assassin's Creed 2, and I really like that thing where you've got a bank account. Assassin's Creed 2 has this amazing economy where it'll dangle a thing in front of you and go, look at these nice robes, and they're £100,000, and you go, oh, I want them. I've only got £10,000, but I want those nice robes. And then by the time you can afford the nice robes, it's dangled something else in front of you and sort of says, oh, do you want this as well? This is £200,000 for a nice sword. Look how sharp the sword is. And it works really well because you've constantly got less money in your bank account than you want. And so it sort of came from that. I love that. I love hoarding virtual currency in video games.
I've always imagined with these sort of procedurally generated ones. I mean, how do you balance levels then?
It's weird. It sort of does itself now. It's a lot of playtesting. It's a lot of sort of fine tuning a little bit. You know, it's a case of generating. What it does is it generates a building, and it generates a very simple building. And as time goes on, and you get better, it generates buildings, bigger and better and harder buildings filled with different things to constantly keep you on your toes, constantly keep challenging you. But it's weird. It's that side of things isn't procedurally generated. That side of things is me just playing it over and over again and sort of tweaking values.
How do you keep track of whether a level is playable? You can finish a level.
It doesn't ever really generate a level that you can't get out of because of the way it works. From the very start, you're a burglar, so you can scale walls nice and easily. So it's very, very difficult to get yourself in a position you can't get out of. But it's not impossible. And I spent a lot of time wrangling with the procedural generation stuff to try and make it so that you couldn't get stuck in a room, and actually took it out again because it removed a bit of the fun from it. Because because the idea is you're breaking into buildings, and if you get yourself into a situation you can't get out of,
it's like the Crystal Maze, isn't it?
It is a little bit like the Crystal Maze. Actually, I've just ripped off the Crystal Maze. That's all my game.
Because I often think that something like Spelunky gets a lot of credit in that people go, "Oh, well, it's rock hard," and actually, all it means is just that the level that it's built for you is it's just too different. I'm rubbish at Spelunky, is what I'm saying.
I'm rubbish at Spelunky.
So am I going to be able to play? The
Yeah. It's a hard game, and it's like deliberately hard in terms of I took all health out of it because it was much more tense when one hit will kill you, and it was much more exciting to be and tense to be in the building in that situation. But yeah, you can. It's got that thing where you die and it's your fault. It's never my fault that you've died. It's always your fault that you've died, and you hammer the A key to try and get. you want to start a new one straight
Yeah.
away. You know, you die and you go, oh, fiddlesticks, and then A, and you start again another one immediately and immediately die and try again.
Do you keep items between, like, so if you steal?
At the moment you do.
Okay.
Basically, if you
I
break
quite like
if you break
that.
into a building
Yeah.
and it's got this thing where you're in the middle of a building and you've stolen, let's say you've stolen $2,000 worth of cash.
Brilliant.
And you go, but I want $3,000 to buy the next exciting bit of
Okay.
kit. I'll stick around a little bit longer,
That's
and then
your
you die.
fault.
Your greed kills
Yeah.
you is amazing because
Yeah.
That's how I'm gonna go.
you only got yourself to blame.
Yeah. You recently announced that. How long have you been working on it?
I started it in the start of the year, so about February, I think.
And when's it coming out?
Hopefully, if I'm still working on it by spring, I'll be surprised.
Okay.
So next year.
Cool. Where can we follow its progress?
The best thing to do is follow Dan Nat on Twitter because I will constantly be banging on about it now that I can.
Excellent. Well, good luck on it.
Thanks very much.
Will you come back in when it's done?
Yeah, of course we will.
Okay. And
No, he won't. Look at that face. He's not coming back up here again.
Well, all the way to London.
To that
All
London.
the way to London.
As long as I can sort of coincide it with something else. Yes.
Excellent. All right, cool. Thanks, Dan. And now it's over to your local news.
Hello, I'm Sega Badawi, and welcome to One Life Left Local News. The presenters of the Knockabout television driving programme with racist undertones, Top Karting, are in trouble again. This time they were filming a special in the Bowser Kingdom, only to be chased out by an angry mob of Goombas, Koopa Troopers and Shy Guys. Apparently the locals were incensed by a number plate on Mario's car that was alleged to refer to previous battles between himself and King Bowser. The number plate read, "Lizards are losers, except for Yoshi," but Mario and the producers of the show have stated that they categorically did not choose the number plate on purpose and were given it by chance. However, this argument was slightly nullified by a Goomba finding another number plate that read, "No cakes for you, Peach makes them for us. We got this on purpose," in a storage crate owned by the producer. We asked the other presenters for comment, but the tall, affable Luigi and tiny accident-prone Toad were unwilling to say anything until Mario had made a statement, at which point they would laugh and agree with everything he said to avoid derailing their money train. Thanks, and back to your usual programming.
Email messages and forward BCC One Life letters.
Thanks for the local news.
Yep.
Sega Badawi.
Yep. Brilliant joke.
Anne, do you have a letter?
Yeah, dear lovely people down by the river. This week, at an illustration conference, I met Steiner Lund, who dropped the bombshell that he had made box art in the 80s for Microprose and Llamasoft. Back in the days when your box art bore no resemblance at all to the game visuals. Do you have any favourite covers? Any tales of disappointment with what the game had once you got past the wrapping? Lots of love, Robert.
Well, the first covers were the games I bought were on ZX81, so they would. I mean, the ZX81 had basically no graphics, so everything on the front was a lie. Flight Simulator in particular. Look up Flight Simulator by Scion. Yeah, that didn't accurately portray exactly what was going on. I mean, it had planes, but I think that was the only passing similarities, that there were supposed to be planes in it.
Is it a shame that there isn't really box art?
Yeah, it's all
so
about the
much?
icons now, isn't it?
Yeah, it
all
is.
about the icons.
You better make your icon good.
What's your icon going to be like, Dan?
Oh, that's the last thing on my mind. That's the last thing you do, isn't it, the icon?
No, start thinking about it now, because if it's not good, people won't click on it.
Just a picture of Anne's face next
Yeah,
to it.
there we go.
That's a great idea.
There you go, done. Good. Any more comments on box art before we move on? Mike, favourite box art?
Bill's Tomato game for the Amiga.
Bill's Tomato Game by Psygnosis.
Absolutely.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Fun game that was.
Sonic still gets me excited. You know that original Sonic box art
Yeah.
with the original Sonic? That's still the greatest as far as I'm concerned. So perfect.
Anything to add, Anne?
No, I never really got into boxes.
Nah. Dan, have you got a letter?
I have. This is from Edgar. It says, "Hey guys, GameCity sounded great. I really have to get involved next year. It sounded like everyone had a great time and was great to each other despite being a mixture of genders." Well done. Well done you if you managed to be great to each other despite being miserable. It says, was anyone talking about Evolve codes? I have heard people complaining that they gave too many codes away. Is that a problem? How? Why? P.S. We have a spare Evolve code.
Even I've got an Evolve code. I don't even know
What is...
It's a new game from Take-Two. It's essentially Left 4 Dead in space, I believe. I've not used by Evolve.
Can I have a code? What?
Speak to who's that? It's Edgar.
Edgar's got one. He says go to Sal Pierre Lamy if you want it. So you go.
Brilliant. Thanks.
Yeah.
Will do.
I mean, it's an interesting tactic, isn't it? That this very public beta. Titanfall did it. Destiny did it.
Pretending that there's a degree of holding back to it that doesn't exist.
But then the irony is that it's like someone like Sony can't get Drive Club right when they should have let few people. I don't know. Yes is the answer, and no. Mike, have you got a letter?
I do. It's from Ben Hall, and he says, "Hello, team. Possibly plus a special super guest. We've got 2, so it seems like only. Well, I'm not that special. It seems like only a year ago that I was chatting to Anne at GameCity. We need some wistful music, trying to think of new ideas for the One Life Left event for the following year's GameCity. Eventually, we decided that a Great British Bake Off style event would be good, and then we forgot about it as we had gotten murdered horribly by someone winking at us. Except, it seems like GameCity hosted their own Bake Off this year and invited Jordan along. What I want to know is how did they listen into Anne's conversation with me? There is no way that Ian GameCity would have thought of such an original idea without copying us. Also, we'd have had Howard and that would have been much better. Cheers, Ben."
Would have been. Did think of this last year.
Did you? Yeah, well, you should have got it done, shouldn't you? Less thought, more action.
Andrew Smith was doing all the baking.
Yeah, how did he do?
He was doing... I only saw what he'd produced, and I was genuinely quite impressed. He did a head crab based thing that looked delicious and hideous. And he did some something else. He did some Mario thing. Mario coins, that's right. Little tarts.
Yeah.
And then something else as well.
Great.
It was very impressive.
I flicked the music bed, the letters bed down because I was going to do this about GameCity because we haven't talked about that properly. We're running out of time. I think Ben Borthwick puts it beautifully when he says, "Dear team, One Life Left and super special guests Mike and Dan. Over the last few days, I have seen some truly amazing things. I've been drinking and talking, writing with comic writing goth and the guy that wrote Planescape Torment. I found myself watching the 12-year-old developer of Space Pants thrash the creators of Birdball add their own game. I've seen Zoe Quinn absolutely destroy all competitors at Nidhogg. I've sat in a VIP room listening to Taylor Swift's new album with friends, including 3 of the best gaming radio personalities ever to grace the airwaves. Daft Souls were up there, weren't they? And I pondered whether a certain indie developer should now arrange to get Hollywood star Andy Serkis to guest on a future episode of Gaming's #1 radio show, One Life Left, because he totally owes them. But the most amazing things I saw in the last few days include seeing folks united in their love of gaming, jumping up on stage to express their feelings in hilariously written song. Folks who've made games side by side with folks who've played games and folks who've written for them in places like The Guardian and The New York Post. Or The New Yorker. Most of all, what I've seen has restored my faith in gaming, reminded me why I want to be a part of this industry in the first place. Of course, I'm talking about GameCity and Marioke, and it has genuinely been one of the best experiences of my life. And I want to thank everybody at both GameCity and One Life Left to make it possible. We were a very small part of that. We were 4 hours of GameCity on Friday night, and it was the best Marioke we've done.
It was.
It was so good. Thank you to everybody that came. It was incredible. Wasn't it?
Sometimes you think that you can tell a crowd, you think that they're just there because they like these specific songs, so you should probably cater to those kinds of songs. But every song, everybody was dancing to everything.
Yes.
Everybody was just having a lovely time, supporting each other, dancing, laughing, getting on stage. Loads of people getting on stage together. It was brilliant.
And when we weren't doing our own stuff, I mean, just wandering around Nottingham from the various events stuff, there's loads of stuff going on. Once again, GameCity never fails to be anything but the most amazing time. So thank you to GameCity. Thank you to everybody that came. Really excited about what you're going to be doing in March and for GameCity next year. Just thanks, really. Thanks to everybody.
Take a second to just say thanks.
Thank you, GameCity. Dan Marshall there, just showing that we often have an off-air chat.
About
you'd
beer
said.
this time.
A beer that time.
At least I didn't say any rude words.
At least you didn't. But yeah, you're absolutely right, and he should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah, he should be. Really.
You're listening to Technicolor Street by J-Red, and that features Groovemaster 303. This is, like all our songs this evening, from chipmusic.org.
Doesn't sound like you.
No,
only the first one did.
right, we're slightly behind time. We're going to have to push on. Okay, so we're going to slightly do this,
Go.
do that, and then do that. It's reviews.
Seamless.
What have you been playing, Anne?
This I'm gonna have to Kiwanuka. It's lovely. It's an iOS game. And yes, so you hold a torch up. You have to get from, there are sort of islands around, and you have to get from one island to the other, and they are separated, and it's like they are in space. And you have to, so you've got a crowd of people behind you, and you have to basically, through a variety of different tapping and dragging mechanisms, you have to create a bridge of either get the people to jump down if it's beneath you, or you have to create a bridge of people to get the other people across. And sometimes you have to break the bridge so that you can drop in between, because there are bits of the islands which you can't stand on because they'll kill you. Don't stand on them. And it's just very very therapeutic and I was playing it in bed one night, and it's quite neon, and you get for every level that you do, you get these new characters, and they all have names. It's lovely. One of them was called Max.
Okay.
Hi, Max. Yeah, it's just really nice. Nice little ways of how to swing the bridge of people around so you can go underneath the island and stuff. It's nice. Just a nice little puzzle game, Simon. Nice little puzzle game.
So, I mean, sometimes that's all you want to play, isn't
That's
it?
just what you want to play. Nice little puzzle game. Neon colours. And for that, I will give it 7 out of 10.
Dan Marshall.
Hello. I've been playing Alien Isolation quite a lot.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. It's one of these things where the world and the universe and the stuff that they've put in it is, you can just drink it in. It's beautiful. Like the opening hour is amazing because you're just looking in every nook and cranny and just drinking in the design of it and the sound design and everything. The music is perfect and everything. They've done such a good job. It has flaws. It's my fault, but I'm playing it on hard because I wanted to be scared of the alien, and there's just not enough save points to make it enjoyable, I think, on the hard mode. So it's my fault that it's hard. I've only got myself
Can't
to
you
blame.
change it now?
I don't want to. I'm 90% of the way through a game on hard. I'm just going to finish
So you
it.
want hard to be easy?
Yeah,
hard to be
I think
easier.
it's weird. I'm enjoying it. I think like quite a lot of the stuff, oddly enough, that I'm enjoying the most is where it's just an alien walking simulator, where there is the illusion of danger, but there isn't actually any danger.
Have you felt
it's
scared?
Good stuff. Well, yeah. Actually, the Doctor Who working Joes actually I found scarier than any alien at sometimes. When you turn around and there's suddenly this android there, they are creepy. They are really well done. And when you get a couple of them after you and they're just uttering their horrible phrases and coming after you and choking you, and you try and hit it with a wrench and it grabs your arm like this and forces it down, and it's a beautiful animation that the first time it happens you're just, I had no idea that it was possible to not hit a baddie in a game. I thought that was just that was a shoe in, but yeah, it's lovely and it's beautiful and it's
Do you think they're going to
fun.
patch this save business? Because I've seen a lot of people complain about it.
I don't think they should. I think
No?
it's my fault. I think it'd be nice if there were a few more
I think
save points, but-
everybody,
Really?
basically everybody I've seen that's played it has complained about having to replay. So
Yes,
it's got
that's where it gets annoying. It's where you've got to a bit where you've gone down 3 corridors and you've found a plasma torch and you've plasma torched the thing off, and then you've pushed the button and you've opened the door and you've hacked a computer and you've set a system and you've hidden in the locker, and then you get killed and you've got to do all that again. It is annoying in a bad way, but I don't know what they do about it. There's no solution to that, I don't think. You just got to
just patch it.
just patch it.
Just patch it in.
Just put a save key on it.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
save key, yeah.
Just upload the patch to PlayStation Network. Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult, but it's a very enjoyable game.
What are you going to give it?
7.
Mike.
I've been playing the Vanishing of Ethan Carter.
Have you? I'm interested in this as well.
Yeah,
It's a walking
simulator. It's a walking horror simulator. Yeah, it's interesting because it's like a horror puzzle game. But if you don't like horror, because I get a bit scared sometimes, you can just forget the puzzles are there. Just walk around, pretend you're in a very underpopulated village somewhere in the New Forest, and there's the occasional field of skulls. But if you don't solve any of the puzzles, nothing scary really happens.
Is that right?
I just wandered down to the river and. Occasionally there's a guy who's been chopped in half by a train.
That sort of thing happens, doesn't it?
New Forest again. That does happen out there. But no, it's really cool. It's got some interesting ideas, and it's got this bit where you find a murder and you reconstruct it chronologically to work out what's going on, which is that's quite interesting.
Is it episodic?
No,
Okay.
it's just some people thought it was very short because you could just walk to the end without solving
Okay.
anything. So,
Lazy detective.
Can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
What score are you contractually allowed to give it?
It's a 7. It's 7 out of 10.
Okay. I can't remember the name of the game that I played at Nottingham, but I imagine that if you were to make a game of the human centipede, that's what it would look
Oh,
like.
goodness.
Push me, pull you.
Is it? Is that what it is?
Pull me, push you. Push you, pull
Is that
you.
what it's called?
Yeah, it's
See,
that.
it's a 4-player game.
Really upsetting.
Isn't it really odd? Where you play, in teams of 2, you play the same being that has a head and an arm at each end of it, and you can shrink and grow.
Oh, I saw that. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that is terrifying.
It was so weird.
Your reaction to that is that's more horrible than both horror game Vanishing Ethan Carter and Alien Isolation.
Is it the one where you have there's a ball?
Yes,
you need to
it's
run?
sort of like this weird old sports game. We had such fun. Who was I playing it with? I was playing it with Jordan. She was on the other team. Jordan, maybe Keith Stewart. No, he'd gone home, hadn't he? Had to go home early. I forget. There were 4 of us. I was quite drunk, but it was bonkers, is what it was. I don't want to play it again, although I do.
It looked, it looked very disturbing, Simon.
7 out of 10, I think. Yeah. So, what is it out now, Dan? Can you buy it?
I've got no idea. I think it's like a local multiplayer. Trade like a sort of show sort of thing, isn't it? I don't know if they're selling it or anything yet.
7 out of 10. Right, that's us, I think. Right,
That is us.
Right to the edge there again. Thank you so much for coming, Mike.
That's a pleasure.
Good luck with the Game Jam.
Yeah, thanks very much.
And all the AI stuff.
Yeah.
Dan, good luck with Swindle.
Thank you for having me at last.
No, it's a pleasure. Please do genuinely come back
Yeah,
on
no,
when
I
it's,
will.
when it's
I'd
out.
love to. Yeah, good.
Simon, thanks for handling the talent.
You're very, very welcome.
And Anne, obviously, thanks for
Thanks for turning up. Thanks for turning up, Simon.
thanks for being there. It's good to know that some things aren't more important than you, our listeners, isn't it? We've been One Life Left. We will see you next week. Thanks very much for
See you,
listening.
bye.
Bye.